The sun ain't nothing
Good
nice.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
With conversations flow so free. He big like just tell the Philly DC. Bringing your knowledge, come and see. The corner is the place to be. With conversations flow so free. He big like just tell the Philly DC. Bringing you the knowledge, come and see. Step into the corner where knowledge finds its way with Pete, Big Mike, Jess, Dell, and Philly DC. Every day they bring the laughter, bring the tales. A podcast segment that never ever fails. Pete, the host with charm and grace, leads the conversations at a steady pace. Big Mike brings the humor, making us smile with jokes and stories that go the extra mile. Yeah. And then there's Jess, the wise and thoughtful voice, shares insights that make us rejoice. The deep thinker with unique perspective expands our minds with thoughts that are so reflective. Last but not least, there's Billy DC, captivates us with stories that he knows the streets. Yeah, together they create a harmonious blend.
We got a special guest that just came into the corner. We'll go ahead and
Just get on with it, man. Hurry up.
We'll bring it in right now. Y'all know I haven't really met him.
Yeah, stop hating. Hey, stop hating. Stop hating. Stop hating. Stop hating.
What's up, what? What's going on?
Hey, yo, let me get a time check real quick. You hear me loud?
Loud as shit, man. Loud as shit. Look like he a beast. So, welcome to the corner, Al. Welcome to the corner. It's good to have you on.
What's up?
Man, what's up, bro?
Brother, how you been?
So tune into the
I've been
corner,
good,
let your
man. Yo,
mind
introduce yourself. Tell
explore.
us
Pete, Big
what-
Mike,
tell us about
just
yourself, brother. I know
Philly
you about
DC
yourself.
for sure.
No doubt.
Their
So,
voices will guide
my name
you
is
through topics far
Al
and
Price
wide in
on
the corner. Knowledge and
Hey, you the
entertainment
boo. You the boo. Go ahead and do this.
So
We go ahead and bring him in.
relax.
Cheers. A bunch of cheers to my man. What up, Nick Jackson?
Hey, Nate, let me hit you back, Nate.
What the world? I'm gonna be on.
Here we go. Here we go.
You tell me. What's up?
Hey, Philly all day, baby. Philly all day. Oh my God. Listen.
Yeah, we got another guest. We got another guest in the building, man. So we'll bring him right here. He should be on there, but he ain't. But we'll bring him right in. Y'all know him as Dale. We call him Landale or Big Dale or Big Brown. What's up, big homie? What's good?
He ain't no damn guest. He ain't no.
Man, where you at looking fresh? Where you at?
What you in Marshall? You in Marshall? Hey, look at that.
What the fuck, bro? What up? What up? What up?
Yo,
What up?
what up, bro? What's up, man?
I don't think that's the right link.
Are you sure that was the last one you sent me?
It might be good, but it says messenger. You need to take out the whole thing. You gotta. I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll
you
do it. Yeah,
Why you-
goodness gracious.
And talk anyway. Welcome everybody to the corner. Welcome to the party. Welcome. I have missed you all. We have missed you all at UPC. As you know, we are doing shows every 2 weeks now. This will give you an opportunity to live your life and let's live our lives and make sure we bring you some good content, which we were able to do. So if you didn't know, if you're a new listener, welcome to UPC. And also, just to give you a footnote, today is a special show. Every last Friday of the month, we do a special segment called The Corner.
The corner.
The corner, yes, the corner. The corner. So what is the corner? What is the corner, you ask? I will tell you.
I was the corner. I will tell you.
All you do simply is just like a radio show. You want to call in, chat about whatever you want. You can do the same thing here, except this is a podcast. So all you do is you go in the comments, you click the link, the engineer, the guy to my right or your left, depending on what you're looking at, will bring you into the show, and you can talk about whatever you want. You don't have to talk about the comment we're talking about, the comment, you don't have to talk about
Conversation.
the topic that we're talking about or conversation. Thank you. You can
Well-
talk about whatever you want. You can throw some shade at your supervisor, your wife, your husband, you know what I'm saying, your basketball team, football team, whatever. Or you can shout out the dude that ran that dang, I can't get my words together. You can shout out the guy you and gal you raised in on the road last night. Or the bad service you got from McDonald's. You take your pick. So it's
That must have
pretty
happened to you. That must have
easy.
happened to you.
Many times, man. I told them dudes I don't want mayonnaise. But they gave me
On what?
mayonnaise
McDonald's only
on
have
my
mayonnaise.
hamburger, man. McDonald's. What you mean McDonald's don't have mayonnaise? What you talking about?
What does McDonald's put mayonnaise on?
Burger? Or was that Wendy's?
Exactly.
Maybe that was Wendy's.
Hey,
All right.
yo.
Hey, so I want to tell everybody, do me a favor, drop in the comments a prayer for my co-host over there, because this dude sound like he coughed up a bunch of lungs. So he sounds
Yo, man, I'm
Look at me.
sick.
Just laugh, bro.
You know what's crazy? I'm getting over being sick. This is me getting over it. So,
Oh, yeah?
you know, hey, you remember how we talked about like COVID versus the flu a while ago? I was like, man, it's the same thing. Bro, I had COVID twice. This is the first time I ever had the flu. I'll take COVID any day of the week over the flu. I see why the flu kill people. Like, I'm telling you, like, I was done. Tony Bostic, what's good? Hold on. I'm going to be coughing a lot during the show. It's going to be hard. But we're going to get our way through it. Yeah, shade at your wife is definitely dangerous. There's only a couple people that can do that. But if you one of them, God bless you. And go ahead and come on the show and do what a lot of us can't. Big Dale, he know when I go get food, man. I asked him, please, God, don't put no cheese on that, depending on what it is. Sorry, the Philly DC in for who?
It says, I'm from Naylor Gardens. You from DC, champ? What's up? Shout out Charles Diz. What's up, brother? So, unfortunately, I'm not from DC. I'm from Philadelphia. The DC is because my first name is Dana Councilman. Typically, people see my name in email correspondence. They assume I'm a female. So I shortened it to DC. It does come in handy. Now, it does come in handy when I go on deployments because I get my own room until I show up. And then they find out I'm a male, and then they don't give me my own room, and then, you know, I end up getting a roommate, which is part of one of the topics we're going to talk about today, is specifically airmen and dormitories, but we'll get to that in a minute. But before we do, just a couple of quick things. Shout out to the Detroit Lions fans out there. I'm official Detroit Lions fan for today or this weekend. I'm rooting for Detroit. That's right. Thank you, Dale. Good looking out. I'm rooting for Detroit. You know, I would turn.
Are
around,
you?
Sanders, baby. Sanders,
Why?
the great Barry Sanders. You know what I'm saying?
Why would you go for Detroit?
Well, for a couple of reasons. One, because I hate Niners fans. So Nick Jack, shout out to you. You can get it, bro. I hate 49ers fans. They're the main reason why the Philadelphia Eagles imploded. They took our souls. I hate to admit it, but they took our souls. And then Detroit has been waiting. I don't know. Tony B, you're a Detroit fan. How long y'all been waiting? For
Like
ages?
30 years.
Yeah, bro. But, you know, Detroit Lions are quick to remind me they do have like 2 or 3 NFL championships.
What year? I don't think they have any.
Oh, they do, actually.
No, they
Bobby
don't.
Blaine, yes, they do. See, get your football game.
I'm
bro.
looking at it right now. Looking
NFL
the
championships. Tony
NFL.
B, jump in. NFL championships.
I'm looking it up now. Hold on. Oh, 35 and 57.
What's that mean?
1935 and
I was
1957.
like, that was fun fact for you history fans. That was slightly. Yo, hold on. Yo. The great Luz Hollis is on. The greatest of all. Shout out to Luz Hollis. Love that girl, man. She's freaking awesome, man.
Man,
We do quit hating. Yeah.
we're not gonna talk about baseball. We can't. Baseball's not even going on right now. But
But fun fact for folks who got like public school education from Modesto, 1937 was before World War II. 2
Yeah,
years
because that was
before
40.
Germany invaded Poland.
Wait, I thought that was 41.
No, Germany invaded Poland in 39, man.
When was World War II?
1945,
Oh,
41.
hold on.
You know, let's just get off that topic.
I know, right? We gonna look like dummies.
Yeah. I'm a World War II buff, but even then, I might have messed that one up. So, how are you doing, man? Besides the crazy
World War
call?
II started in 1939, September 1st, 1939.
Ha! I was right. Hand clap for DT. Hand clap. Hand clap.
All right. I'm good, man. If I can get my dang voice together, I'd be a lot better and stop this damn coughing. But other than that, I feel great. I got a lot of homework. Got my final today, and I haven't been able to do it all week because I was in the hospital. So now I'm 2 days out and got a lot of homework to do. So it's just going to be a lot of homework this weekend, which is good. You know, let me rest. Let my body rest at the house, chill out, and rest. But I'm interested about these topics we're going to talk about. I wish Gene Harris would come on here because he's the one who brought up the first one. But yeah. Maybe he'll come on later. But yeah, I'm interested about these topics and how you feel because I had some animosity towards you for the first topic we're going to talk about.
What? Really?
Don't act shocked. Don't act shocked. Don't act shocked. When we go into it, you're going to remember it, and it's all your fault. It's all your fault. It's all your fault.
Okay, all right. So just for everybody's listening, first, before we go into it, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone that had commented on both topics. First topic was mess dress for Master Sergeants. Is it mandatory or not? And if you're a Master Sergeant that does not wear a mess dress, should you receive shade or not? Does that mean you are not a CRNC or not? And then the second topic, which is near and dear to my heart, airmen in dormitory. Should airmen be 2 to a room, 1 to a room, or given BAH to move off base regardless of rank? So
yo, can we pause?
Yeah.
We got the first guest. Came in the building.
We do?
So let's go ahead and get him
know who it is.
So we'll go ahead and bring. Oh, he just got out. He literally came in and got right back out.
Man. Okay.
Kevin,
right,
man, we had you. Kevin, we had you ready to go. We saw that you were on here. We was about to click you into the show, and you disappeared. Come back in. That's how easy. That's how easy it is. I don't know if you're worried, if you're scared, or what happened, but we was ready for you.
Come back in.
All right, I'm sorry. I think I interrupted you. Now you got your Cat Williams on the phone. Hey. Yo, speaking of Cat, he's back on. He's back on. Oh, and he got a picture. We'll bring him on real quick. I'm not sure if it's how to pronounce the last name, so I'll just call you Kevin, and you can let us know how to pronounce your name. But welcome to the show, Kevin. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Man, how you pronounce your last name? Ott. Oh, see, that's very simple. Very simple. How long you been listening to Unpopular Celebrities?
Yeah.
How long you been listening to Unpopular Celebrities?
Off and on for, I don't know, about 6 months or so.
Oh, man. Really appreciate the love. Really appreciate the support. So you on the corner, first guest on the corner. So we really leave it up to you. What do you want to talk about? What do you have a question about? We'll answer your question. And we'll go and get you off so we can get the next people on. Kevin, can you hear me?
Yeah. I was having both the Facebook and this one going, so I was getting a lot of echo. So I shut the Facebook.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
So let me jump in and set the stage. So Kevin, former Chief Master Sergeant, actively involved in AFSA, and I put out 2 comments on the Facebook page about mess dress in dorms, and Kevin had some very interesting and powerful comments and a lot of background. So Kevin, if you don't mind, I would like to talk about the mess dress first. So what are your thoughts on the mess dress? Yay or nay for Master Sergeants?
Yay. And it should be part of when you get selected for promotion to Master Sergeant, you should get a voucher. Not money, a voucher that you can redeem at the military clothing sales stores for your mess dress uniform. I first saw it. I was an airman. I served 82 to 2012, so I've been out a little bit, and I'm older than probably everybody that's on the podcast here, or ever will be. But the first time I saw a senior NCO or a chief wearing mess dress back in 1983, it was like, wow. I mean, looked sharp. It was impressive. Now, granted, the mess dress then was different than it is now. Even the insignia, the chevron was different. It was a special chevron for the mess dress. It was a
I
black
didn't know
color.
that.
It wasn't the blue. But it's like, holy crap! Wow, that's impressive. Now, I will admit, I didn't buy one until I became a senior NCO, or had a lineup for Master Sergeant. Um, but I was in a lot of units. I was on bases. I was never on a base necessarily. I was in small units and things that we really didn't have the events to go to. But as a senior NCO, I just kind of said, hey, it's part of the gig to be there to represent and to show an image that's, a notch above. Not knocking the mess or the service dress uniform either, although it was different in 1983 than it is today. We won't. That's another subject for another time, I guess. But yeah, it should be mandatory for senior NCOs, but it should be provided via a voucher.
Is that voucher a one-time payment that will cover the expense? Because I know people have different medals, and the medals is what costs you a lot.
Well,
and then-
yeah, I mean, and I think it was pointed out in the earlier conversation. We all do get enlisted. All do get a clothing allowance. I have never met a person that can honestly tell me they spent every cent of that clothing allowance on new uniforms or uniform
Amen.
maintenance, as far as updating their ribbons or whatever. So, that is what that is. And actually, historically, years ago, presidential election time, when Ross Perot was running for president, I don't know how the subject ever came up, but the subject came up, and they were pushing at the time to eliminate the clothing allowance as a cash payment and make it a revolving credit line at the clothing sales store.
Oh wow,
So,
that
that's
would have been.
talked about for 20 plus years. It may happen someday. Who knows?
So let me jump in real quick before we let you go, because I want you to kind of touch on the dorms too. But my counter question to you though is I agree with everything you say. However, there are some folks that believe that wearing a mess dress does not give any indication of the type of leader or senior NCO that you are. And in fact, there
correct.
was one particular person that actually said, as a chief, I'm trying to find his comment, but he said in there that he wears a semi-formal when he goes to ALS graduations because that's what the airmen are wearing.
Right.
So I guess that my question to you would be, do you think there is it is intended, like, say, case in point, somebody wants to be a master sergeant, is it expected like, hey, you dress for the part, and if you don't, should that be frowned upon?
Right. Well, if you look at the history of the uniform and you go back to when the mess dress was developed and when they came out with the idea of the semi-formal, enlisted people were making pennies to the dollar.
Mhm.
Now they're making, quarters. to the
25
dollar.
cents. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say quarters to the multiple
Yeah.
quarters, be it 2 or 3 quarters to the dollar. Times have changed. Everything has changed. And in my view, to say, well, that's part of our enlisted heritage. Well, so was not having a high school diploma. So was not having a college degree. So was
Wow.
getting drunk every single day of the week. Going out back, fighting, spitting, cussing, smoking, whatever you want to go with that heritage and tradition thing. So does it show that you're a better leader? Of course not. And I see the memes all the time from my generation of folks. This was the standard. The gloss black boot that was like a glass. That was never the standard. Never. It was those that exceeded the standard. So we get caught up. Be it a haircut, be it however you do. What's the standard for what's the acceptable standard for PT? Is it still 70 or is it 75?
75.
Okay, that's the standard, 75. 75.01, you pass. But then we come out with, well, if you get a 90, then you get what? Every other year testing or whatever.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, you've got all the time the minimal standard and exceeding a standard. If you're going to if you're going to an event that's black tie, that the civic leaders are in a formal suit, black tie, or a tuxedo event, and all you do is take your regular service dress uniform, take off the name tag, put on a white shirt instead of a blue shirt. What did you really do there to show, a higher level? Now, granted, everything is, awards programs, people don't dress up to go to the award shows, the Emmys, the Oscars, whatever. It ain't what it was 30, 40 years ago. But again, what is the military? We were supposed to be a cut above the general population. And one way to show that, yes, it's not saying you're a better leader, manager, person, Christian, Muslim, whatever. It's not saying you're a better person. It's just saying, here's an example of something you could demonstrate being just a bit above the minimal standard.
And what do you think about? Last question. We'll let you go. Really appreciate you coming on. What's your thoughts about maybe NCOs or even airmen getting mess dress? Is it more or less just if you want to, or is that going to push that minimal standard to now be a new standard?
Well, if it's known that when you make senior NCO, you're going to get a voucher for a mess dress.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Why would you buy one as a senior airman?
Very good point.
Again, I went to my NCO Academy graduation as a tech sergeant, sporting my semi-formal dress, which then was a bow tie. So at least I had to buy a bow tie.
Yeah.
It wasn't the issued tie that you wear now. So I had to do something to wear the semi-formal. But, and I think in my NCO Academy class in 1996, I think there was one guy that had a mess dress, another tech sergeant. And, we all looked at him like he's brown nosing. Yeah. He caught grief from the other direction. Who the hell you think you are? Yeah. But no, I think it's always going to be there. There's always going to be discriminating things that somebody could do to be better than somebody else or appear to be better than somebody else. And I just think professionalism, all that kind of stuff is part of it. Is it looks appropriate for the types of events. Do you get your money's worth out of it? Oh, heck, I don't know. But if you only choose to go to one event a year, that's on you. Yeah. As a chief, I went to every ALS graduation that I was in town for. Whether I had an airman in my squadron there or not. I felt it was what I should be doing as a chief. I'm going to anyway. Why not go eat dinner there? And I learned too, if I go early, I got to the front of the bar and they give me a big size glass of drink. So I got my perks there. So
there you go.
Mm-hmm. Well, good stuff. Hey, so always good seeing you, Kevin. I wish we had some time. We could get into the dorms, man. We're going to have to bring you on another time so we can talk about that topic. Hey, a lot of good nuggets you dropped in them.
I love to talk housing, man. That's how I spent my last 8 years is fighting that battle. So,
man.
Housing.
Yeah, that's why I asked that question in my job. We deal with that all the time at IMSC, man. I think that's now with Chief Flossie going on to be SimSAF, I think that conversation may come up again, so it's good to get some input.
And there's a lot of stuff happening in Congress and the NDAA related to BAH and housing in general. So, I mean, that's where it's all gotta originate from. It starts from the people, but it originates in the Congress. The service won't do anything that the service is not authorized to do by the Congress. So that's everybody needs to understand that piece of the puzzle. But yeah, I'd happy to come on again another time and talk about housing and BAH because I know way too much about that.
We'd love to. I'm looking forward to seeing you at AFSA this year in Houston, right, in September. Yeah, so looking forward to that. Hopefully we can all get out there as unpopular celebrities and come meet you and have a show or something like that.
Awesome.
Live.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Kevin. You have a good one, sir.
All righty. Take care.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
Bye.
Man, that's how easy it is. Hey, somebody come on out the blue, drop some nuggets, had a couple comments in here. Really appreciate it. Tony Bostic, I know you have a different view, so if you want to come on here and share, you're more than welcome.
So shout out to Gene Harrison, man. Like, you can hear me, right?
I gave you fine.
Okay, good. Shout out to Gene Harrison who posed this question about mess dress. Where you at, bro? Like, you
Yeah.
brought it up. You should be on here to provide your comments. But yeah, shout out to Kevin Ott for coming on, man. He brought some interesting pieces in there. We may touch on that in a little bit as far as like dormitories, which was a hot topic in the comments too. So Pete, based on what Kevin said, I mean, what did you agree with?
So the first of all, the voucher's huge, and then it counteracts with the clothing allowance though. So you still get your annual clothing allowance, but I think when you make it to the senior NCO rank, one time voucher of maybe not a full cost, because like I said, everybody has different medals, and the medals really could cost you anywhere from $50 to $150 just in medals, depending on how many you have acquired amongst your time. Excuse me, Mr. Ott, once again, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming on. But the only thing I'll say is I think it should be an offset cost. So maybe like a blanket amount, $300, $350, and that will probably help you out a lot towards the mess dress. Here's my question. Well, no, it wouldn't even be a question. Like, I guess you have to use that on a mess dress. So it'd just be a voucher just for the mess dress. But I agree with that. I also agree with the fact of if you had the voucher, then airmen, NCOs, because I've seen staff sergeants with mess dress on. I'm like, man, what are you doing? And they're like, why not? I have to have it anyway. I'm going to have it. Like, I get you. Hopefully you're going to gain weight, lose weight. Something's going to change. Maybe you can grow a little bit between now and making Master Sergeant. But if you want to go ahead and wear it now and you want to pay for another jacket later on, man, do your thing. I know they sometimes have mess dress at the Airman's Attic, which are cool if you can get it that way. Or maybe a hand-me-down from a senior NCO or something like that. My beef with you real quick, and I'll let you go because I talked a lot. You probably don't. No, let you talk.
Oh,
I'm sorry. You remember there was one Chief Master Sergeant Dana Council. I'm not sure if you know who that is.
sound like an awesome dude.
He made one Technical Sergeant Dominic Peterson buy a mess dress to ALS graduation. Man, I was pissed. I was pissed.
Shout out to Chief Master Sergeant Dana Council, wherever he's at. Hey, shout out to you, Chief Council, man. You're awesome leader. So you know what? I tell you, for Chief Council, man, I can understand why he would say that, because he might have saw some potential and said Dominic Peterson and encouraged them by, pushing him to go buy a mess dress to better represent himself, being a leader that he has the potential to be. And before I forget, to go to your comment and also Kevin's point as far as like a voucher for mess dress. Now, we did bring up, do we not get a clothing allowance every year?
We do.
And how much do you think a mess dress costs?
Average between $500 and $600.
Well, interestingly enough, according to military.com, your clothing allowance standard per year is $495.24. That is a deficit of what, about $150, $150, right? Mm-hmm. And can we both agree? And for those who don't agree, I'd love to hear your comments. Everyone does not use their clothing allowance every year for military clothing. Is that true?
100%. I never used it for it. I can say I never took, like, if I got $300, I never bought $300 worth of stuff. Right? Exactly. Can we agree? Okay. All right.
Exactly. So you might buy a new pair of boots. You might buy a new uniform, but you don't spend the whole amount towards clothing allowance, right? So I look at it this way. Well, let's go back to Chief Counsel real quick. Chief Counsel knew the importance of wearing a mess dress as a senior NCO. Now, does that mean that makes you less of a senior NCO or a bad leader? No, but I think David Satchel in the comments made a good point. He said commitment is a personal thing. And I love that comment because in the end, everyone at some point in their Air Force career, a light bulb went in their head and said, I'm in it to win it. Like, I'm going to stay in. and continue this Air Force journey. Why not embrace it all? Like there was some comments online, and I want to make sure I'm fair. I'll just say this and then I'll be quiet because then I'll ramble on. There's some comments that said, because of the current economic struggles in the country and inflation, mess dress is too expensive. Like there's much more better things to spend money on, right? And especially for something which I thought was my favorite, you're only going to wear it once or twice a year. But didn't Kevin say, like, if you only wear it once or twice a year, that's a personal choice?
That's
like,
true. That's
my
true.
favorite is when I was at the wing and they had an ALS graduate. No, disregard. When I was at the squadron, they had an ALS graduation for, let's say, LR, and LRS had a representative.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would ask the senior NCOs in the squadron, SF squadron, like, yo, who's going to the ALS? And they would say, I'm not going. I said, why not? Because we don't have nobody graduating. Bro, y'all senior NCOs, you got to have a cop graduate to go? Like, we represent all airmen, regardless if they're 3P or 2S or whatever. So if you say you're only going to wear it twice, that's your choice. Doesn't mean you can't go to the ball or to the induction ceremony or ALS or NCOA Academy graduation.
Let me take care of some business. Tony Bostic, we just put the link in. The link is in the comments. It's under unpopular celebrities. So if you click on that link, it should work. If you're having issues, please let us know. We'll fix it. I want to go into Kevin Ott's comment. As 12 OAY finals back in 2003, we all received a uniform voucher. Not sure about the dollar amount I used to buy a second mess dress because my first one was made in Korea. I grew as a senior NCO. So I didn't know. I wonder if they still do that. I wish we had Christopher Ricks on here to let us know if they still do that. I think as Charles said, we get a voucher. Well, we get a voucher every year, right? Not why.
But why not go
But why?
Look at why the cost based on the material is $200. So I'm confused. What do they mean by voucher? What voucher?
I think he's talking. Yeah, I missed something too. I was thinking he's talking about clothing allowance, which I wouldn't consider a voucher, but yeah, I'm not sure unless he's reserve or guard. Maybe reserve or guard gets something different. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, elaborate on that. But Tony, hopefully you got that link in there. You got quiet, but hopefully you got that, or you're scared. One of the two. Yeah, he said I'm saying clothing allowance. Yeah, he's saying clothing allowance. Not sure why the jacket costs $200. Because they can make it that amount of money. I don't know, Chief.
I mean, I don't know why the jacket costs $200, but I must admit, like, throw darts at me. I really don't care. Like, the way I look at it is put it this way. If you were going to the club and all you had was a pair of Skeechers, right?
What are those?
Would you, shoes, whatever, sneakers, right? It just
what you call them, Skeechers?
Can I finish, man? Thank you, Debo. As I was saying, it's like where your priorities are. Where are your priorities? Like, people go out, they've got 2 TVs in their house, but they go buy another TV because it's on sale.
Guilty.
They've got 150 pairs of sneakers, but they go buy another pair of sneakers. But you can't invest in your career and buy a mess dress. Does that help you get promoted? No. Does that get you extra points? I don't know. But I personally think it should be, it's expected. And there's other people that Chief Counsel is guilty of encouraging, like Cephas, Master Sergeant Cephas, and I forgot the other senior NCO in Kadena. When they made Master Sergeant, I told them, like, bro, do not show up without no mess dress, bro. Because if you do, you don't have to. It's not mandatory. But the right thing to do is get a mess dress. You know what the excuse was? It costs too much money.
Too much money.
Bro, you just got paid. You just got promoted, bro.
You got paid yet. You didn't get paid
but
yet.
Still, like, to me, when you make Master Sergeant, it is part of the journey. Buy the mess dress. And if you choose not to wear it, that's up to you. But to your point earlier, you got airmen showing up in mess dress, staff sergeant. if the uniform is there, why not take the opportunity and wear it and look sharp?
I do think it looks a lot better than blues. I will say that.
Oh,
It
yeah,
do look
man.
good. Yeah. It do look
Oh,
a lot
yeah,
better.
man.
Uh,
Ah! Woo! Guilty and charged. Okay?
Oh
But
man, we
anyway,
get it.
I
Wait.
just wanted-
Let me go back to Charles' comments.
Go.
I'm saying what you need a voucher for when you really already get an allowance that is the form of military giving you the money. Nobody on the outside gives people money for a tux or come to the company. That 100%.
Oh, there you go. That's a mic drop right there, bro. Like this, and don't get me wrong. I do. Wait a minute. The cost of a good tuxedo ranges from $550 to $1,000, meaning a mess dress is about average. Yeah. I will say, like, don't get me wrong. I get it. Like when people say a mess dress does not give you any additional advantage or display you being a better leader. I do, but that doesn't mean you should not buy a mess dress. If you are having some financial struggles, legitimately, meaning you're not out there buying 5 or 6 extra video games, 3 pairs of Jordans, or buying a car that you can't afford, or whatever, use whatever, it's some whatever excuse, you can invest in a mess dress. And like I said, you get $495 a year extra, not in your base pay, for clothing allowance. As I won't even get into people showing up to work in uniforms look like they just parachute out of the plane. They got dragged down the road in the Himalayas to brush themselves off and went to work. Like, bro, but you out there, y'all know who you are. Buy a new uniform, man. Stop wearing these boots with these pizza stains and stuff on them, bro.
Pizza
Buy a uniform. You
stains.
get paid for it. Buy a uniform. Anyway.
Wow. Okay. Tony Boss says it's a choice, not the standard. If the Air Force wants to be a standard, they'll need to do it. But if they don't, and you are committed, then stick to your chest out and rock it.
Yeah.
So I guess it all comes back to commitment. It seems like that's the common word or common phrase that we're using. Is how much are you committed to the Air Force, and how much are you invested in it? And that means financially, personally, professionally, all that. How much are you really invested?
Yeah, the only thing I would say to that is, yeah, it's not a standard, but there's a lot of things that's not a standard or mandatory, but we do it anyway, right?
Oh, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there are a lot of things that says the average, but there's a lot of people that do more than above average. Why do they do that? You know? So I look at it the same way with the mess dress. Now, my job as a leader is not to sit there and treat you any differently that you decide to not buy a mess dress and show up to an event with a bunch of senior NCOs and officers with a semi-formal attire. But I will tell you and encourage you, like, yo, bro, you're a mass sergeant now, or senior mass sergeant, or chief mass sergeant. I think you should buy a mess dress. If you
I will.
decide not to, you know.
Can I counteract one thing?
Yeah.
I think if we had more events that required semi-formal or mess dress, I might think people would go get it more. But nowadays, and like Kevin Ott said, we don't have the promotion ceremonies anymore in service dress. We don't have the ALS graduations in service dress. Only thing we have, no, we don't.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I thought they couldn't be.
ALS.
Oh,
What you mean they don't
I'm
have
sorry.
ALS?
We don't.
graduation
I'm sorry.
service dress?
We don't have it. Can I say that?
What, Luke?
Wait. Hold on. Before I go on.
At Luke
Before I-
Air Force Base? Put the
Wait,
disclaimer
before-
up there quickly.
Yeah, before I go on. Anything that comes from unpopular celebrities, all unofficial, no comments, conversations from us and the guests represent DOD and the armed forces as a whole. So I'm not gonna say where I'm at, but at a location I might have been at. Where's the Deuce at? Look, thank you, Charles. ALS grad no longer evening
That's not
ceremony.
necessarily true. In
Thank
some
you.
bases they are.
Look at Daniels.
Oh.
What up, Chief? Chief dropping ball. Oh, Barks did.
That's how Luke gonna be with you when you get to work.
Oh, man.
Let's get back
Hold
to
on.
it.
But anyway, I don't know how to caveat for that. What's up, Chief? Man, it's good to have you on here. But I don't know how to carry on from that.
Hold
But
on. I just want to say something real quick. Give me a second. I was supposed to do this, but I forgot. I just want to do a disclaimer. Everybody in the comments, either now or later, give a big congratulations to my partner in crime, who has crossed the burning sands and will soon be a member of First Star Nation. Round of applause, everybody. Yes, he has made it. Let the world beware. To be a first sergeant.
I appreciate that love. Appreciate that. I still got to pass school, but COVID certainly changed things. But it's better to have an event to show up instead of just a lunch. I agree. I wish we did have the ALS event again. Even promotion ceremonies. Promotion ceremonies are just in. Appreciate that, Chief. Promotion ceremonies are just in OCPs now. Award ceremonies are in OCPs. Any ceremony I could think of except for senior NCO induction ceremony and the chief induction ceremony. I can't think of any an Air Force ball. Maybe annual awards. No, annual awards were in OCPs.
Now, let's just clarify something. Like, there are a lot of installations in the Air Force that are going back to ALS plated dinners at night.
Oh, look. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
He's 100% right. That's so funny. He's 100%. 100%. Yeah. First sergeant school is.
Your best dress now, right? Lucky you got your best dress.
You can wear semi-formal. But
Wait a minute. Let me put some pep in there.
But go ahead. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I told the future. That's why Chief Counsel told you to get your mess dressed. But anyway, I digress. So let's be clear. There are some bases in the enterprise that are going back or went back to plated ALS dinners and mess dress, semi-formal and such. For instance, at JBSA, they do it. They do it. So and so here's the thing, and it's kind of getting off topic, but it's part of the topic. COVID. There are a lot of things that were good that we got from COVID that was positive, like case of point in some cases telework. And then not only that, we got to the point where we could not be around each other. So we had to find inventive ways to kind of celebrate things. So we started doing ALS graduations and virtually, teams,
yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then we said, well, why bother getting in semi-formal or mess dress? We'll wear OCPs. And then the airman was like, oh, great, we ain't got to dress up. And then the senior leaders was like, great. And I would tell you at DM when I was there, you had a whole lot of people because we had it at lunch. And we found it was packed in there because you know why? It was convenient. It was at lunch, no mess dress. And so, and then people were more prone to come. But on the flip side, you found like a lot of leaders, especially chiefs, was like, we are forgetting the time-honored traditions of these events. We need to go back to service dress and mess dress. And so that's another topic for another day. But the reason why I bring that up is because that is the importance of, professionalism and commitment, I think. So
yeah. So I guess the moral of the story is if you want to be committed, go get your mess dress. Moral of the story?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's just if it is a personal choice. I don't think it shows that you're not committed. Okay. I just think it's a personal choice, but I think you have to really examine the reason why you're not doing it. If you're doing it because you want to buck the trend and say, hey, I don't have to do it, it's not mandatory. Making mass sergeant is not mandatory either. Right? I mean, nothing that says like you have to make master sergeant, right? Yeah. So it's the same, to me, it's the same argument. But.
Okay. You want to move on to the dorms?
All right, let's move on to the next one real quick. So dormitory. So just to set the stage, I posted this on the Facebook page, got a lot of comments. Not me, but this other guy, Sergeant Council, is the command chief of AFIMSC. And if you didn't know who AFIMSC is, I don't blame you because people are still trying to figure it out. But it's the Air Force Installation Mission Support Center. We provide support functions for all 78 bases. Keesler ALS in the late 90s was a lunch and blues. Only class commander walk across stage to receive diploma on behalf of the entire class. Interesting. Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But quickly, so we deal with dormitories. And I would tell you, since I've been in this job for about 8 months, the things I've learned in this job, case in point, real highlight before we go to the comments.
Okay.
For those that don't know, in the CE community, if you CE guy, jump in if I'm wrong, they have what's called a BCI. It's called a Building Condition Index. And what it does, it rates structures based on their condition.
Okay.
So it's like a score from 60 to 90. So our dormitories are rated that. So we have, I would say, it's off the top of my head, I think it's like 15, 20% of our dorms in the Air Force need to be rebuilt that are in a red category, red, yellowish category. And so during the last infrastructure council, we got programming for $300 million over the next 4 or 5 fiscal years to rebuild some of these dorms. But here's the problem. We have about a 4,000 plus deficit in dormitory spaces across the enterprise, which means we need a lot more dormitories. But the problem is dorms are built by Milcon, and Milcon is hard to get. You know why? What do you think we're building with Milcon? Weapon systems, structures, things of that nature. And so unfortunately, in most MAJCOMs, dorms are not at the top of the list. So there has been talk about how do we fix this dormitory deficit? Do we? And then there are some people that think how we fix it is if you're a wing commander, command chief at a base, and you got airmen to single rooms and you have a dormitory deficit, why not double them up?
Double up the people in the room?
Yeah. Put two airmen to a dorm room, right?
Okay.
And then you got some people that say, why can't airmen just move off base and give them BAH?
Right.
But on the flip side, you have some people say, if you have airmen move off base with BAH, you're going to run into folks who are not responsible enough to pay their bills. They're going to have some financial issues or whatever. So anyway, a lot of conversation. So I was curious about what people think. So let me ask what you think before I go into the comment.
Yeah. First of all, Tony Bostic got a good topic right after this one, so we'll get into that. Man, and I guess everybody liked Tony Bostic comment. But anyway, so my thoughts about the dorms. I want to go to your last point. Moving everybody off the base and giving them BAH and BAS, right? I think the DFACs would have to close. So that would be a counter argument to why would we need a DFAC anymore? I don't know if that would save money, if that would hurt money, because everybody's getting BAH and BAS now. So basically, you don't really need DFAC because nobody would eat there anyway. Number 2 is the responsibility piece. That's the part I can't agree with. And it goes back to what we say in the civilian sector. Do you think when I get a job at McDonald's or wherever else, they're saying, hey, is this enough money to stay working at McDonald's? Is this enough money to stay, to keep you basically head above water? I think that's a personal choice. And if people get out because they're financially or get kicked out because of financial reasons, maybe they weren't meant to be in the military anyway. Because there is a responsibility. If we're going to say higher standards, that's a part of higher standards is basically taking care of your money. I know Dell is an ADL. So I have airmen begging to move back into the dorms due to the economics.
Economy.
So double 2 people in the room. Hopefully, I know, like in the desert, we still do that. Certain places, I think in Korea, they still do that for certain ranks. But I don't know. Would you want a bigger, better dorm and have to live with somebody else, or would you want a older, smaller dorm and live by yourself? Could that be kind of an argument? Or that's not even close?
I think that's more or less like a wishful thought. And the reason why I say that is because even if you were to say that, the problem is we don't have enough dormitories. And so this question is it's not a rhetorical one. It's like trying to brainstorm to find a solution, because as we continue on and we don't have any place for our airmen to stay.
Okay, well, let me give you
know?
a strategic level thought. Kick everybody out. Kick. There's a lot of comments. I'm not reading that super long one, so I'm gonna leave that one up to you from Bradley McCoy. But kick everybody out. Give everybody BAH, BAS. Tear down all the new dorms and start building up. Start building up new dorms slowly, and that might be a 2050 project.
So the problem with that, well, that's not really a problem. I think that is an option, but I think one of the things, the challenges we run into is you have different schools of thought. You have a lot of leaders that grew up in the dormitories. They knew their airmen that grew up in the dorms, and they worried that if you allow airmen to live off base on their own, the young airmen basic to C airmen, let's say airmen basic to A1C,
Okay.
concerns about financial responsibility, mental health. Then not only that, the economy, because there's certain areas, depending on what base you're at, the BAH you give them will not be enough for them to have a home off base. And then expectations. Like as an airman basic, do you think it is fair for airman basic to say, hey, give me BAH to live off base. I want a 1-bedroom house. What is right for airman basic?
I mean, yeah, I guess depending on where, depends on what they're able to afford. You know, if you're in Oklahoma, it's different than being in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. So you're not gonna be able to keep up with the Joneses. You're not gonna be able to live like a chief master sergeant lives. You're not gonna be able to live like some master sergeants live. You're not gonna be able to live like married staff sergeants live. You might have to get a roommate and live in an apartment, and it's probably gonna cost you $1,500, $1,600 a month. And you're not going to be able to have the fastest internet, and you're not going to be able to have the best car with it, and you're not going to be able to have all this other stuff at the time. But there's a thing about being patient and making your money work for you, and that means basically putting up with some BS, because right now all you should be focused on is learning your job. That really should be it. So if you're worried about, oh, I need a bigger house, oh, I need a better car, oh, I need this, well, that's a part of life, and that's a part of how we think. I don't think it should be your main thoughts.
So shout out to Matt Morris and
wait, don't go out of order for the.
I see you. I'm just gonna say I saw them in the comments. Like, this is your opportunity to get on. Stop being scared. Click the link and get on.
Yeah, that's true.
Instead of hiding in the comments. What were you saying?
I was gonna go to all the comments because there's a lot of them. So
don't read Matt Morris. Make him get on.
And then McCoy, man, I wish you could come on because that's a long one.
You want me to read it?
Well, let's go to Kurt or Kevin Ott real quick.
Right.
Dorm construction is expensive. New dorm builds in Ellsworth were around $175K per bed. Goddamn, per bed space. Single family homes construction is around $200. Okay, well,
so that's why we have the question, because it's easy for folks to say, hey, we don't have enough dorms, let's build more. It's not that simple, and it's super expensive, and it takes time.
Hey, Tony Bostic, I put the link in there one more time. It's on, I don't know how you're watching this. It's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, and it's on Twitch. And the comments under Unpopular Celebrity starts out with Talk Studio Streamlabs. But that's the comment right there to go ahead and jump on. If you can't figure out, I mean, just let me know, put in the comment. I'll just send it to you directly to your Facebook if that's easier. It said, Pete, you got the flu. Yeah, I did have the flu. Get you some zinc. What the hell is zinc? I don't know what that is. All right, let me go back through these. Hey, read this long one through McCoy from Brad and McCoy.
Okay, the new BMT dorms were being looked at when I left 1 year ago because they were leaking. Air conditioner was broke, and the latrines were molding due to lack of airflow built in. So that $300 million, besides what you mentioned, is spent. Then there were dorms over in aircraft maintenance that were ridiculous. We are way behind on building. Updating 2 tour room is not a big deal for tech school, but that's an unpopular thought. Oh man, you get the hand clap for that one. And that's what that's what I'm trying to get at, because there's no surprise. We have a lot of dormitories out there that are in bad condition. And so when we say we need new dorms, let's build new dorms. It takes time and it costs a lot of money. And so all I'm saying is like, is it wrong for a base to say, in order to fix this problem, instead of sending a horde of airmen off base, which, by the way, if you were to even do that and authorize it, where are they going to stay at off base?
That's not my what are you talking about?
Let me finish. You got places at Luke, like case in point, at Luke, the rate to find a place to live is difficult. I know, because at one point you guys had additional funds in TLE. So if you got families with 2, 3, 4 dependents that can't find a place, can you imagine an airman? And so to that point, what is the harm in saying, all right, in order to fix this, we are going to put 2 to a dormitory room? And let's be honest, in college dorms, not all I don't know, but there's a good amount that have 2 to a room in college dormitories. And I know some of their dorms are probably better than Air Force dorms. But what is the harm in having 2 to a room?
There's no harm into it at all. Two things. I wish Dale can get on here, because Dale went to go visit ASU dormitories to go figure out different ways to help Luke's dormitories. But look, get your hand clap ready, because I just read this one. Gary Thomas says, simply put, yes, allow them to live out of the dorms. We trust 18, 19-year-olds with $1 million weapon systems. We trust them to make split-second life and death decisions, but we don't trust them to live on their own. Go ahead and put the hand clap. Ain't working.
I can't give a hand clap to that one because I'm conflicted. I agree.
How are you conflicted? It's 100% accurate. I'll let you finish. Sorry.
100% accurate. Thank you, Debo. Anyway, as I was going to say, here's the problem. I agree. We got SF cops, defenders that's carrying guns with a round in the chamber that are 17, 18, 19 years old. We got airmen that's working on billion-dollar aircraft, but the argument is we can't trust them to live off base. Here's the problem with that. Yes, I agree. I agree with the statement with that. It gives the impression that airmen can be trusted. But if that's the case, do we not have airmen that have financial struggles? Do we not have airmen that have problems paying their bills?
Okay.
Do we not have airmen that go downtown? Not all, but go downtown, get drunk, maybe get a DUI, right? So here's the rub. There are a lot of folks, senior NCOs, commanders, that feel like they want their airmen close on base, so they have everything they need. Because let's be honest, I mean, here I am, 30-some years in the military. I'm somewhat institutionalized. I could have stayed off base, but I like the idea of being on base where everything is where I need to be at. Plus, I didn't want to pay for a high interest rate for a house. But anyway, that's besides the point. But for airmen, you live on base, you eat on base, you work out on base, and in some cases, in some places, you can have fun on base. And leaders feel comfortable with that. And to Dell's point earlier, he said you got airmen trying to get back on base because of the economy.
So, no. It's not because of the economy.
Anyway, as I was saying, I don't disagree with his statement. I think the middle ground is on a case-by-case basis. There was somebody in the Facebook comments that said you have some 41-year-old airmen. I get if they want to live off base. And some of them are A1Cs. And then you got some people that look in the reg and say, well, the AFI says you got to be a C airman. But this dude's 41 years old. And he displayed maturity. Let him move off base. I think it's a case-by-case basis. But I do think 2x2 to a dorm, depending on the situation, should be a viable option.
What is the kickback you might receive for having 2 people in a dorm?
Because, let me find the thing. Good shout out to Kevin Ott, man. And I remember we was talking about it the other day at IMSC, but there was a NDAA study, or there was a mandate by, I forgot where it was at. I'm trying to find a comment, but it was something that was put out that was agreed upon that we would have to go to one-on-one in the dorms, like one person to a dorm. So it was like it was put out that we have to do that as a force, that they favor one to a dorm. But that was, I think, in 2000. I don't know. Kevin, jump in if Kevin can help me out. I can't remember. But there was a mandate that said we want Airman 1 to a dorm. But the problem is we don't have the infrastructure anymore in most places to support that. We don't. And the problem is like, case in point, just without going down the deep rabbit hole, like case in point, you have models like Edwards Air Force Base that had a contractor, disregard as canon. You had a contractor that was building
He
apartment
said the
buildings.
1990s.
Thank you. But they had some apartment buildings built near Cannon Air Force Base, and they have a dormitory deficit. So they entered into a lease with the civilian builder to lease those dorms for airmen. So that solved a lot of their dorm problems until they can get Milcon later on down the line. But that may not work for every installation.
So, okay, we'll go down that road. And we have a lot of comments. Please just jump on. It's so much easier if y'all just jump on than trying to go through all these comments. And like we always talk about, you could just do audio. You don't have to do visual. You can just come on and say what you have to say. Even if you're watching on your computer, on your phone, however it is, even if you got 30 seconds to come on and say what you want to say and get off. Are we sponsored by Canada Dry?
I'm hoping. Sponsor.
All right. So okay, I'll ride with you on the case by case basis. So maybe at Luke Air Force Base it could work, and maybe at Ellsworth or I don't know, Oklahoma, Vance, Oklahoma, it won't work as well. Right? So I guess that should be a case study. Like I'm sure Florida, MacDill Air Force Base in Florida is probably expensive as hell, but has a lot of places that you can live at. You just have to manage your expectations. I don't see the problem. I really, really don't. You're not gonna, let's just be 100. You're not gonna live like freaking P. Diddy. You're not gonna live like Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. You're not gonna live like General whoever or Colonel whoever. You're not gonna live like them. So when we're talking about that, it's what's the problem? Kevin Ott's back on here, so we'll bring him back on. Sir, go ahead. Jump in.
Y'all ask for it, so
yeah.
It's probably the last time y'all do this. So
No. We need the smoke. Go ahead.
Going back to the conversation about responsibility and things. When I was at Lodge's 2008, whatever year it was, they closed the DFAC and had a kitchen in the dorms, and we had an airman actually fill an entire pot to the very top full of oil, then dump a full bag of frozen French fries into that oil.
There we go.
If you don't know, I mean, and it's always been this way. I'm not saying this is a generational thing. You know, people come in, raise their right hand, swear to the oath. Yeah, they're entrusted with millions of dollars of whatever, but they're not at it all alone either. There's always somebody over their shoulder watching them. You know, it used to be, two people, technicians, whatever it is, wherever you are, there's somebody watching, or you've got trained to the nth detail how to do something. You just really can't turn a lot of young people, a lot of folks, I'll say young people, but a lot of people, you can't just let them go out on their own and expect them to really live. If you've ever done a dorm inspection, you know what we're talking about. There's always that one dorm in the hallway. As soon as you open that hallway door, you get the smell. And it's like, oh yeah, it's Larry in room 14. And it's like, what the heck, dude?
Yeah.
And I've been on the other end of the phone calls when commanders have called back home and spoken to Larry's mom. Was Larry a messy kid? Oh yeah, he was Mom did everything for young Larry, so he's never had the ability to live on his own. So yeah, I mean, there's got to be a certain point of a safety net. But going back to the dorm construction piece, the expense of it, if you can build a single family home for the cost of 2 bed spaces in a dorm, but you can house 3 or more airmen in a house, integrated into society, onto the base, where they can learn, interact with people. And now you're not looking at that as an NCO necessarily as an evil dude. That's your neighbor, Sergeant Jones, and he's helping you work on your car, or he's helping you figure out how to start a lawnmower. You don't put the gas in the oil and the oil in the gas, whatever it is. I've seen it, done it. We've all been there. So yeah, there has to be some safety net, I'll call it, before you release them to society.
Kevin, stay on real quick. We're bringing our next guest on.
Oh,
we
man.
we got just stay on 1 second. So we got Landell Brown, who's the ADL. So what's your opinion on this? I know you got something to say. I know you driving. You better be hands free right now. No, keep your hands on the wheel. Keep your hands on the wheel.
What's going on? No, I got the driver assist. I'm good.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Mic check. You hear me?
Yeah, you good.
All right. Yeah. So, I'm superintendent undercover housing. I was an ADL, then I moved up once I made master. But I'm on two sides of it. One side is, man, we can wish for better dorms all we want, but I've been in 2 years. It's such a hassle to get these dorms reconstructed. We have partnerships with construction companies off base to do renovations, and they'll just fall off the map and not show up. So it's super hard to get these dorms. And, Big Air Force always says number one priority, but it's so hard to ask for funding and stuff. At least where I'm saying, where the base I'm at. I'm not gonna throw it out there, but it just takes forever to get stuff. A lot of the stuff is done internal with CE. So big shout out to CE. They do a lot of troop training projects through the dorms. So they do keep it alive. But the living together piece, like Chief Ott said, we have so many discussion rooms to the point where you can smell it before you even open the door. So maybe if you put two into a room, that could probably show them a little responsibility. I know in Turkey, since the coup, actual base housing, we have NCOs in actual houses, and they like it. There's like two staffs to a house, stuff like that. The airmen are in the dorms, but I don't see that. That could be a good idea to bring on, but that's going to take Congress to do that. But I'm here for a few minutes. So what other questions y'all got?
I guess then my
It's
point would
not
be
kinda
is
late.
not so much a question, but a response. So one thing I think people may not understand, and like case in point, Kevin, I'm sure you can attest to this, but when we say we want new dormitories, the first step starts with the base and then the MAGCOM. Like if the MAGCOM knows you guys need dorms, you've got to set it up high enough on the priority list to help program for it and advocate for the money. But the bases are thinking about infrastructure for
Right.
weapon systems. They're
Right.
thinking about other budgetary priorities, and dorms are, in some cases, dorms are not at the list. But like
just keeps
cases like
falling
in the
down.
AFSOC with Cannon, that's at the top of the list, which is part of the reason why they were able to program money to get into that, at least with the apartment. So for Luke, shout out to Chief Schaefer out there. I know they care about dorms, but it's a big problem. It's not that easy to say we need new dorms. It's just the money.
Right. Yeah. We've had a building on the wing funded list for almost 6 years now, but it's finally getting funded FY25, so that's good. So we'll have a whole new dorm reno. It took about 6 years, but we're gonna hook that dorm room up, or the whole dorm building up, and another one next year. So it's coming, but it's like I said, it's been 6 years.
So Dale, Kevin, let me know what are your thoughts about just kicking airmen off the base in primary good living areas where they have a bunch of apartments, houses around the base, and just kicking all the airmen off and then just renovate the dorms slowly. And then once they get fully renovated, it might only be good for another 20 years or so, but then you can move the airmen back on base. What are your thoughts about that? If they're, or new airmen can start living in those dorms.
Well, some of the considerations, obviously, besides just being able to live on your own, not every airman even has a vehicle, because they can ride their bike, they can walk to work, they catch a ride, whatever. So now, if you truly throw them out the gate, then what do you got? Here out where I'm at here in South Dakota, right outside the gate, there's nothing right now.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of stuff being built, but right now there's nothing. So again, I think it's very situational where some bases, and I think the housing situation as a whole is based on a mindset that every place is San Antonio or the DC Beltway, where there's 200 communities you can pick from to live in, and
Yeah.
it's your choice of where you want to live. You get out in the rural bases out here in the Dakotas, Montana, wherever, it's very limited to where you can actually live. And then there's just a false expectation too of, well, I'm an airman basic. Where's my 2-bedroom apartment downtown?
There you go.
You Staff Sergeant, Tech Sergeant Ott. Staff Sergeant Ott lived in the dorms with the 2 people at Robbins in the '80s, so it's not a new concept there. And I had a 1-bedroom apartment as a tech sergeant. I lived within my means best I could. But I mean, yeah, it's always a struggle. You're never going to be perfect. But I think it's a dormitory building. If you took the dormitory building, what's the difference between a dormitory building and a Hampton Inn?
Nothing.
Nothing really. Now, why are we spending so much money to build a Hampton Inn style building? Hampton Inn ain't spending no $175,000 per bed when they build a hotel property. So why is our cost so high? And there's a lot of things that contribute to that. We can talk for days on military construction programs. I mean, that is just it's just crazy. And again, the DoD yanked the plug 20 plus years ago on the number of housing units the base had to provide, the percentage of the population. So the DoD said we're getting out of the housing business. Local communities will take it up. So there's not even a requirement anymore to build even new family housing when you're bringing in a new mission like we're doing here. So yeah, there's a lot to the subject. Yeah.
So do you think we'll ever? I don't think we'll ever catch up to infrastructure in dormitories.
No, and part of the problem too with just construction in the military is you're designing something today for a unit footprint of today for something that may be funded 5 to 10 years from now and finally built 15 years from now. Now this new building is done and the squadron's moving in and okay, well this is your section for your work center. And you got 28 people in your work center and the office is built for 9 people. Well, that's what it was when we designed the building. Oh crap. We need to be more flexible in even design of a building with movable walls or whatever it can be so that a building itself is more flexible. Every time we move into something, it's like renovate after as soon as we move in, we're moving stuff around. You never plumb enough communications wiring into it. That was my old job. You never plug in enough comm wiring into initial building. Because that's going to be, a 6-person office, so there's 6 phone jacks. And later, when it's finally done, it's a 12-person office. Now you need 12 phone jacks. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, Dale, you got anything else?
Yeah, one thing. So here that the base housing pretty much they're low on their occupancy. So what they did was they allowed dorm airmen once they get out to move into the Luke family homes.
I saw that.
Yeah. So that's a good thing that they got going on. So pretty much what they do is one airman pretty much covers the BAH and then the roommate. But you do have to have a roommate to put a little money in your pocket. They'll pay you half of it. So a lot of the airmen are taking advantage of that, of the unoccupied homes here at Luke. So I think that's a good thing maybe that other bases can look into, because a lot of airmen like Chief I was saying, they don't have cars. So at least they can move into an actual house on base and, ride their bike to their squadron. So I think that should be a good look for a lot of these bases that have housing that are unoccupied to consider single airmen moving into them. So, but yeah, that's all I got.
Philly, you've been kind of quiet.
No, just taking it all in. I mean, all good points. I don't disagree. I think in the end, that's why we're having this conversation, because I think a lot of times people have different thoughts of what we can do for our airmen. And if we don't chime in and give our perspective, then we end up we go down the wrong rabbit hole. And then all of a sudden we're having this conversation again 10, 15 years later, because when they made the decision to do one airmen to the dorm, which, my boss the other day enlightened me. At one point, we were at what? I think back when we did force shaping, I think as a force, we were at double the amount where we were at that time. And then as we started to downsize, maybe that's when they went to a room, but then we started ramping up again. And then we find we got these new missions, which Kevin mentioned, that are going to these different bases, which drive the demand for more dormitories. And it's not that we just don't have enough dorms. It's that coupled with new mission sets that come to different bases. And so it's good for bases to come up with ideas like Luke, DM, to allow airmen to live in family housing. But then you got to think about, what about those families that have 1 or 2 dependents that could use that housing, and they got to move off base. And then the last big thing is, to Kevin's point, is expectation. Because during the height of COVID, when we had this big BAH issue or off-base housing issue, which in a way we still do, there was a document that was going out that stated, if you are a certain rank, this is what your expectations of which you are authorized.
That was the worst thing in the world.
No, I think that was good.
That's the worst thing in the world.
Okay. I mean, can I finish? As I was saying, that doesn't mean as a staff sergeant, if it says I'm only authorized by rank a townhome, that doesn't mean I have to get it. But just know, if I go out and I try to buy a 3-bedroom house and I'm wondering why I'm paying out of pocket, now you know why. BH was never intended for, based on your rank, to be able to give you everything. Utilities, 3-car garage, pip your ride in. You got to get what you can afford. And if you decide to pay more, then it is what it is. And I won't even get into dual military, because I won't even get into that, because
the millionaires.
That's another story for another day. Anyway, thanks, gentlemen, for coming on, man. We appreciate it. Love y'all perspectives. Kevin, shout out to you, man. Always thank you for all the comments and for the extra nuggets, bro.
Definitely. Dale, you should have been on here. All right, bro.
Man, I'm on baby dude. She in the back right now. We trying to go to the store.
Okay.
Snacks. So we heading to Target right now.
Who's snack, for you or for the baby?
For the baby, man.
Okay. I thought all right, Dale, we'll holler at you.
Yeah, I'll holler at y'all later.
You know what? I'm tired of your presence. Dismissed.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up. No, good topic.
Tony B said something real good down there. He said, I wonder what are their thoughts. Tony
Who's
B, I think you're talking about airmen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
About airmen.
Yeah, I was wondering who there was. Can we go into one subject for 10 minutes? It can't
absolutely.
take no more. It can't take no more than 10 minutes. I'm trying to find it. Give me a second. All right. Got a topic after this from Tony Bostic, who never came on when he said he was. The sustained superior performance phrase is overused and sometimes the devil. You want me to go first?
I don't. Yeah, you can go ahead, because I'm trying to understand.
Hold on. I get my chest together.
Make a choice.
So the statement of sustained superior performance. Number one, it's only used on 2 different realms. Either when you're trying to help somebody or hurt somebody. It's not just a statement that you just throw out. So usually, oh my goodness, it's coming to your Facebook. It's coming to your Facebook. It's coming. Tony Boss, it's coming to your Facebook right now. Hold on. I could dual task. It's in your Facebook, sir. All right. So he yelled at me too. So I have been a victim or the pleasure of somebody giving me or keeping something from me for saying I don't have sustained superior performance. I think you have used that term a couple times. And I think it's just 100% bullshit term that we use when we just want to hurt somebody. And we can't think of another reason why. Coming on to the show, the man, the myth, the legend, Chief Master Sergeant Tony Bostic. What's going on, sir?
Yo, what up? What up? What up? What up? Y'all see me?
Nah, we can't see you, but we can hear you.
Cool. I don't know how to, man. I'm technology.
You
on,
good? You good? You good?
We good now?
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go. There you go.
What's going on, gentlemen? What's up?
What's
up with
going
y'all,
on with
man?
you? How I want to say how you can't find the link when everybody else can find the link. That's my only
Because
question.
I'm stupid.
Ain't got no comeback.
I was born in the 70s, man. We don't do this. We just do this face to face.
I mean,
Anyway,
DC was
how you
born in the
guys doing?
40s.
You looking a little sick?
Oh man, I'm
What's
hurt.
something great, man?
Huh?
No, I'm saying, Chief, you looking good, man. Them glasses.
Oh,
standing
thank you. You
out.
know what I'm saying? Thank you. I do my thing. You know what I'm saying? You know how I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm always doing my thing. That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so
So,
I mean,
Tony
I wanna
B, tell us
tell you
about
guys
this
something.
comment, bro. Yeah, break it down for us.
Yeah, so I think it's vastly overused, right? And then sometimes it's used to keep people in their chest, and it shouldn't have to. For example, I was talking to we're doing a enlisted force distribution panel, right? And we're looking at records, and we had a couple guys who were just murdering it, throughout their whole career. And they said, "Oh, this is sustained superior performance." Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, "Yep, you're right. Kill game. That's murder. That's easy, right? He or she's always kind of been ready." But then you start to notice that when you have some of those panels and you don't have all those guys who are kind of like, you have like one that's kind of doing it, another one that's not, and then you can see throughout this individual's career, he or she was just like learning their way, right? They're getting punched in the face. They kind of grew a little bit. They were growing and growing, and all of a sudden they reached their pinnacle at this year, right? And I always tell them, say, "Hey, listen, I'm not trying to promote you to be a senior master sergeant when you were a tech sergeant, right? I'm trying to see where you are right now and how you grew from it." And what happens is we say it so much, a lot of our young leaders, man, especially these new young master sergeants, young seniors, they like, "Hey, they didn't have sustained superior performance." I'm like, "Man, shut up, bro. You was not perfect your entire career." Like you have to realize that sometimes people learn lessons. Sometimes they're hard lessons. Sometimes the supervisor didn't kind of provide them the tools they needed to navigate through those lessons and reflect it inside of their EPB or EPR. And it gets misconstrued that in order for you to be a great leader, you should have had sustained superior performance throughout your career in order for you to be eligible for this next rank. And it gets misused a lot.
I'm gonna agree 100%, and I'm gonna let Chief go. But I had this BA. Can you hit the beat button for me?
The what?
The beat
Oh, my
button.
bad.
This
Yeah,
bitch ass motherfucker. All right, we're good.
Man, hold that thing down.
But this damn senior who used to walk around with that portion clicked up in the AFI for decorations when we were deployed. And he used to bring it out of his little cargo pocket, and he used to say, "Sustained superior performance is somebody blah blah," and that's what it takes to earn a decoration. But that term doesn't mean anything. It's all in the eye of the beholder.
Oh, hold on. I do agree with that though.
But what does sustained superior performance mean to Tony Bostic might not mean what it means to Dominic Peterson, might not mean what it means to DC. So that term, that phrase by itself mean absolutely nothing. That's like saying I have a great car. A great car to me might be different than a great car to you, might be different than a great car to Dana Council. It might be different. Some people say a great car just gets you point A, point B. Some people say a great car needs to have all the technology inside. Some people say a great car needs to have no dents, dinks, or anything on it.
Yeah, but you do have to look at it as it's like you can't say just because a word or phrase is subjective meaning is worthless, right? It's in the eye of the beholder, as you said. And I think we have some kind of like baseline pillars that we can use to understand like words like professionalism, like what you consider professional may not be professional to other people and so on and so forth. But I do agree with the decoration piece, man, because that's a small fraction of time that you want to identify if this person is that phrase is used too much, and sometimes it's used against people.
And that's what I feel like when we use it against people is because the phrase is just a phrase. Like I said, like when somebody wins the Emmy for Best Actor for a movie, people, that's very subjective. Some people look at it and be like, oh yeah, he definitely was. Some people are like, I think he was better in this role, or I think this person was better. So I think, unfortunately, mostly chiefs or seniors or your superintendents have that responsibility to say who deserves one and who doesn't. And then it's like, what do you judge that? Some people say, oh, if you didn't have any 12 or any quarterly awards, so how could you be a sustained superior performer when you never won any awards? Other people be like, well, awards doesn't make up anything. So it's all just different, and it all just doesn't make sense. It's really just used as a crutch that leaders who don't know how to communicate well can just say that phrase and let people just move on. My personal opinion. My personal opinion. DC, I'm done.
I don't agree with a dang thing you said, bro. Not a dang thing. When you say it is a way for, it's a crutch.
Yes.
Crutch. So let me say this. Okay. So we say, let's break down sustained performance first, right?
Sustained superior performance. Sustained superior.
As I was saying, sustained superior performance, however you want to say it, it is nothing more than a metric that people use when evaluating a person's records. There is a charge that's being read for every EFDP, every board when it comes to looking at records. And then they have specific metrics that you look at when you look at your records, things that the Chief of Staff of the Air Force values, such as scope and span of responsibility. And it does say decorations and performance and things of that nature, right? So let's look at it. You have a Master Sergeant the year prior that was killing it, won an annual award, won a quarterly award, got coined by, I don't know, the Duke of Ellington or whatever. He PCSs, goes to the next base, and then at that base, he doesn't have any awards, he doesn't have any coin from the Duke of Ellington, but he's doing his thing. Now, here's the thing I will agree with. For someone to assume this dude should not be given a legitimate shot of consideration because he didn't get the coin of Duke Ellington this year, he didn't get any awards or nothing, to me, that's not a clear indicator he didn't have sustained superior performance. It all lies deep in the EPB of what is written. If the year prior he was innovating, managing, overseeing, leading, doing things to make the unit better, but then the following year, it shows that he just did like, I don't know, let's take an example. He oversaw a project that is strictly his duty description. Or I think actually the real rub is, it's the promise, not the word, it's us. And here's why. Like, if we're trying to say this person did not kill it like he did last year, we don't write it that way. The only way you can tell is if, again, he doesn't have the Duke of Ellington coin or the award. It looks the same unless the person's a good writer. But I think to say sustained superior performance should not be considered. I think it's a flaw. Should not be considered. I think it's
man, my mic is
we can hear you loud and clear, but you must have a thing going on. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it should not be considered, right? I'm saying it's vastly overused and sometimes it's used against somebody, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
You alone, you just kind of explained it. You explained it that there are clear metrics, right? But sometimes these clear metrics are not so clear. Like you say, hey, the EPB outlines this, and that. When you have your board says this, and that, you know as well as I do, all boards are not created equal. All leaders are not created equal. All people don't read like others read. And that's ultimately, that's our responsibility to be sure to educate that, right? But sometimes we're not there all the time. Because as you take this phrase, just like many other phrases like TOS and all this other stuff, people misconstrue what the meaning is, and then they start applying it everywhere, right? Versus truly understanding the essence of that word and actually applying it the way it needs to be, so we can actually show who should be promoted, who should not. You know as well as I do, they're paper champs. There are a ton of them. There are a ton of them out there. And they say, oh, this is sustained superior performance because he or she meet these metrics. But sometimes there's a person that you're looking at their records and you're saying, okay, hold on, wait a minute. This individual he has some mark ups, not mark all the way up. So I don't like to say mark down. That's weak. But he did not reach the pinnacle as we say, a sustained superior performer. But you and his superintendent see how he or she works hard, how she or she are leading people, and it just was not captured, or they was having mishandles or missteps in the previous year or two. And now we're saying that, hey, well, this right now, if I give a strike to this person's gonna be better than this person.
Yep.
But you know what happens is that when you look at those records and they say sustained superior performance, they say, hey, well, you know, his record is better than his record, or her record is better than her record. But you know as well as I do, the one who had the mishaps, probably you put that stripe on them right now, this other one needs to grow a little bit, even though the paper is different. So sustained superior performance is always applied to records versus the individual, and we get confused. It's me keeping it real. And if we're not being honest, then we tripping. Like, we can't always apply Air Force doctrine and policy and be like, oh, this is what happened. Sometimes there's an element inside of that uniform that's a human that kind of sees some things that the paper doesn't capture. And we use those phrases to kind of hide that sometimes.
100.
This is my opinion, though.
DC, go ahead, because I know I ain't got nothing else to add.
Okay, so
This face he gave me 100 times with Katina. I just want to tell you that.
Yo, that was right on point.
I'll pause. I'll wait. Pause. Let me know when you're ready. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's go back. All right. So when we say again, sustained superior performance, like I was saying, it is not the end all be all, but it should be something to be considered. But it's not the end all be all. In the end, when we say paper champs, how do we get paper champs? It's our fault. Like, if DC writes in there that I saved the Queen of England and I was the person that stopped the insurrection at the White House or whatever, and I was never there, and you, Tony B, as my Raider, signs off on it, and you, Peterson, as the commander, sign off on it, you created a paper champ. It's our fault. And so when we say sustained superior performance, there is something to be said by looking at someone's records and using it as a measure. Case in point, when we say we did EFDP about a month ago, and then somebody said, one of the commanders said, oh, so-and-so doesn't have a master's degree like this other tech sergeant. And this chief was like, that's no fair. Tech sergeants don't need a degree to be a master sergeant. That's true, but is it not a metric we look at? It's like saying, like we said earlier, a mess dress, right? You don't need to have a mess dress, but it sure looks good when you have one, right? So it's the same thing. You have the baseline performance that is captured. Shout out to Jesse, Shireen, Taylor, my gal over there at DM. Shout out to her, future command chief now. She said it perfectly. These are basic things to look at. And so when we look at superior sustained performance, it is something that we still have to consider. Now, real quick, and I'll be quiet. On the board, the only time, Tony B, when this comes into play is at the wing level. I tell people all the time, you have two processes. One is captured in the AFI. You let me know when you stop shaking your head, I'll continue.
It's not just at the wing level.
Let me know when you finish.
It's not just at the wing level.
Can I finish? You ain't let me finish.
You said let me
Debo,
let you know.
Debo, help me out. As I was saying, you have two processes. In the AFI, it has specific stuff that you can look at when you're looking at records for stratification. And the only difference between that process and at the actual board is that the board, all you see is what's in front of you in EBOS. You don't get to talk to anybody, cross-reference material. Hey, look, Sergeant Peters is a sharp dude. And you look over to your right, bro, Sergeant Peters is straight dirtbag, bro. But it says it here, he stayed to Queen England. Yo, that's all cap, bro. I don't know why they wrote that. You don't get that at the board. But at the wing, you do. So at the wing, when I'm sitting down with Tony B and I'm sitting down with Shireen Taylor and Daniel Hall, we can say, hey, Sergeant Peterson is great. Tony B will say, Sergeant Peterson's averaging. Shireen Taylor say, Sergeant Peterson's foul. Why? He got bad breath because at the meeting, all that dude was talking smack and he pulled the cap. You know what? No stratification for him. That's the only difference. So when you're when we talk about superior sustained performance, if I said that correctly.
You didn't.
People use that. I think it's fair for people to use as a metric. It should not be the end all be all, but I don't see anything wrong with using it.
Tony B, you're muted. I'm gonna unmute you. All right, go ahead.
Okay, you have a clear understanding of how to use that term properly, right? I just based on what you said and based on my understanding. But what I think we as leaders seem to forget is that all people who are making decisions on all levels do not have that understanding that you have.
That's right.
It's our responsibility, yes, as you said before, to educate them, to get them smart on that. But at the same time, it's just one of those phrases that is overly used and sometimes used as a weapon. Same thing with the toxic word. Not saying that sustained superior performance is wrong. I agree with it. I know it's elements of it that can be used, but when used properly, it's very effective. But when used improperly, it's very effective for the devil. That's my whole point.
That's right.
Okay, yeah, I agree 100% with that. And only response I would give to that is it's just like when I'm doing the board for stratification, or I'm advising on the EFDP, it is up to me as the senior enlisted leader to set the baseline when people use those tactics when they look at records. Unfortunately, for certain units, when you don't have someone that does that, to your point, Tony B, that's when you fall into that fatal funnel of people using these terms as the sole metric to determine if somebody deserves a shot at stratification, and that's wrong. I do agree with you.
I dig it. I like the conversation. I appreciate the time, fellas.
Hey, appreciate you coming on here. I'm glad we got to get you up on here. We'll have to get you back on again, but really appreciate it. Thanks for the conversation. Thanks for the comment.
Represent D-Town. Represent, baby. Lose yourself. You only get one shot to blow.
What the world?
Opportunity comes in lifetime.
Pause.
No. I never hear that song again, man, ever.
Exactly.
D-Town.
I told you.
D-Town, baby. Yeah, D-Town, baby. D-Town.
Man, pause. What the world?
No, opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose.
All right. Okay. Oh, man, we have to get off. I'm surprised I made it. I'm glad I made it. Oh, man.
Shout out to that Buster Gene Harrison in the comments talking about my wearing a Lions jersey. Bro, you should have been on. You the one posed the mess dress question. And it's funny. Does Dell have a mess dress?
He does. He had one since text arm.
He don't. And he had one since text arm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know that for sure. But anyway, good show today. Good job on the corner.
Good.
Another good corner episode. Shout out to everybody who came on. Tony B, Kevin Ott, Dale coming on. Everybody in the comments. Sorry we couldn't get to everybody. They started flying fast and furious, but that's why we had the corner. So you can come on just like those three gentlemen did. Come on, give your opinion. Be back on in 2 weeks. Hopefully my voice is back. If not, probably won't be back on because I might be somewhere else. But hopefully my voice is back. I think we have Wes Lawrence coming on in 2 weeks.
You already hit him up already, right?
I did.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So another great leader that we have in the Air Force come on, give his opinion and his story behind everything. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, watching in for the hour and a half that we've been on, man. You don't know how much we appreciate the love and support. A couple things, and then I'll let you go, DC, or let you talk. Got a new logo that is in the top corner. So if you see that, that's still us, Unpopular Celebrities. So we got that coming, which means more merchandise. So Cheap Golf, you'll be sure to get the first T-shirt 110%. Once we get that, and everybody else will be having those for sale along with some other merch. I'll be out there at AFA in a couple weeks. So if anybody's going to be out there, please look out for me in Colorado. Say what's up. Love to get you for maybe a snap interview or something like that if we can get some time and do some things like that. And that's really all I have. I know you on a couple of vacations, TDYs and stuff like that. But go ahead, DC.
Man, that's a good wrap up, man. I'll try to make it real quick. So to echo your comments, yeah, thank you, man, especially for the folks who's chiming in on the Facebook page when we pose out questions like that. That's so beneficial because that preps the stage of when we do the show and to hear different perspectives and stuff. I wish I had an opportunity to get through all the comments and talk about them here, but I'll be sure to go back on the page and respond to a lot of them because there were some good comments. So shout out there. Shout out to Kevin Ott, again, Tony B, Dell, and then who am I missing? Is that it?
I feel like I'm missing one. If I'm in, I'm
I feel
sorry.
like I'm missing one. So I appreciate y'all getting on. We're going to do this again. Like I said, we do this every last Saturday of the month. The Corner, easy. I mean, you already saw it firsthand today. You click the link, get on. We talk about whatever you want. We're going to take good care of you. And plus, it's a way for you to interact into the show. It's fun. Gene Harrison, my bad, hanging with the family. You hater. Anyway, so I am heading out to Sky Air Force Base, Illinois on Monday. I know Melissa Johnson is there and Andy Andrews. Looking forward to seeing y'all out there. And then we're heading to Colorado after that for 2 days. Home and then over to Ramstein, Germany for 4 days. So I'll be looking forward to seeing you folks. So if you're in Ramstein, Germany, hit me up. Be good to see you. Kind of like shake your hand. Thank you for watching the show. Maybe do a quick snap interview. Dom Peterson, you still a scrub.
I gotta be a scrub.
What's up, bro?
I gotta be a scrub.
But yeah, we appreciate y'all support. I will pose more questions in the future. And thank you for all your comments. And yeah, it's good to see y'all. Unpopular Celebrities live and direct. The Corner. Another one is done. We are out. We will see you in 2 weeks. Good luck to Detroit. Do not lick your chance to blow.
All right, we out of here. Peace.